I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast.
There's a picture of Erika Kirk with a ponytail and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before, and she was with that man in the lobby, and that man, he was present at that meeting.
Imagine building your brand on being too holy for happy hour, only to get caught on camera double-fisting cocktails while your ex leaks photos and your in-laws demand a DNA test. Welcome to the real-life political soap opera starring Erika Kirk, a leaked tape, and Charlie Kirk's parents turning into full-time FBI agents. Grab your popcorn, fam, because what was once a godly Instagram couple is now a forensic investigation with baby photos, old flames, and a DNA test that could blow the Kirk family story wide open. The tape that started it all. Let's start with the match that lit this dumpster fire, the leaked audio. Allegedly, it's Erika, not just whispering sweet nothings, but reconnecting with her ex while married to Charlie Kirk. Not ex-boyfriend awkward, we're talking full secret calls that match suspicious timelines awkward. Charlie's parents didn't need long to hear the red flags, because apparently they'd already been suspicious months before this audio went public. And when that kind of tape surfaces, you don't just clutch your pearls. You do what any power couple's parents would do in 2026. You order a DNA test like it's DoorDash. Allegedly, Charlie had already started questioning things. This just forced everyone else to catch up. But the tape wasn't the only thing Erika couldn't control. Let's talk about the scars, the photos, and a past Erika worked overtime to Photoshop out of existence. Erika's carefully curated image begins to crack. Erika Kirk sold herself as the textbook Proverbs 31 wife. Pure, conservative, God-fearing. Didn't party, didn't date, didn't even look at a margarita. I never dated here because I saw through my roommate how terrible it was. I don't drink, I just prefer coffee and brunch. Erika, CBS Town Hall suite, until you find out Erika was a cast member on Bravo's Summer House in 2018. And spoiler, she wasn't there leading Bible study. Footage shows her partying, drinking, and basically living her best hot girl summer in NYC bars and the Hamptons. So either Erika's idea of holy includes tequila shots, or someone's been revising her origin story like it's a Wikipedia page with no moderator. She built an entire image based on a version of her past that Charlie never fully believed. And if you thought that was bad, we haven't even gotten to her ex-fiance. Yes, fiance. And no, it wasn't Charlie. It's time we talk about JT Massie and the engagement photos Erika wishes we forgot. The baseball player and the engagement that never was Erika dated professional baseball player JT Massie and gushed about him in magazines. Called him her favorite human, her best friend, and incredible boyfriend. They posed for what looked like engagement photos. No marriage records ever surfaced, but the vibes were wifey level. Then suddenly, that entire relationship vanished from her narrative like it never happened. No mention, no acknowledgement, just deleted, until the photos resurfaced online and reopened questions Erika had buried deeper than her college party phase. She didn't just rewrite her past, she never truly closed the door on it. But wait, we're not done, because the real plot twist doesn't involve JT, it involves a Trump rally, a mysterious little girl, and the man who introduced Erika to Charlie. The rally, the girl, and the Tyler Bohr connection. In 2015, at a Trump rally in Arizona, Erika is caught on camera standing with a man and a young girl. Internet sleuths hit pause, zoom, enhance. That little girl, fans say she looks a lot like JT Massie, and standing in the background like a political fairy godfather is Tyler Bohr, the same Tyler who introduced Erika to Charlie Kirk just 2 years later. Coincidence? Or were the dominoes set up a long time ago? Tyler later became the COO of TPUSA and arranged what was framed as a professional interview between Erika and Charlie. Spoiler, it turned into a date, corporate matchmaking baby, but with politics and power. But Erika wasn't single when she met Charlie. Oh no, let's talk about Cat Phillips, her real boyfriend at the time. And yes, it gets very awkward. The Daily Wire romance and secret overlaps. Before Erika ever stood in front of Charlie Kirk as the poised, polished woman claiming she'd lived a life untouched by casual dating, there was a chapter she hoped no one would revisit. A chapter that, once uncovered, made everything else feel like a carefully rehearsed performance. Around the same time, she was being professionally introduced to Charlie, an introduction that would later be framed as the beginning of their conservative fairy tale. Erika was very much not single. She was allegedly dating Kat Phillips, a senior editor at the Daily Wire, working directly under Ben Shapiro. The same Ben Shapiro Charlie had very publicly clashed with over Israeli sponsorships and political strategy. It wasn't just whispered rumors or vague gossip. One of Kat's old tweets from September 2017 resurfaced. Casual on the surface, but damning in context. The photo. Kat and Erika on what was clearly a painting date. Yes, the same Erika who would later insist, on national television no less, that her life in the years leading up to meeting Charlie was quiet, disciplined, and entirely devoid of dating. But the timelines told a different story, a more complicated one, a more real one. And suddenly, the question wasn't just was Erika dating, it became how many people knew and who was covering for her. The overlap didn't stop there. Photos from that same time period place Kat and Charlie in the same social circles, attending the same events, often just feet apart in the background of group shots. So now the optics looked even messier. Erika wasn't just dating someone during the timeline she claimed to be spiritually preparing for marriage. She was dating a man whose boss was Charlie's political rival. And Charlie, he was unknowingly being introduced to Erika by Tyler Bohr, a mutual friend who would later facilitate their interview turned first date. Looking back, it doesn't feel random. It feels deliberate, or at the very least, strategically convenient. Because if Erika truly wasn't dating, why was she romantically linked to a man who not only moved in the same political orbit, but had direct access to Charlie? And this is where the curated identity Erika built began to crack. Her public image, her origin story, her so-called transformation into the godly wife trope, all of it started unraveling. Because once people began connecting the dots, the patterns became impossible to ignore. Erika wasn't reformed, she was rebranded. And as for Charlie, he was watching, quietly, intently, not saying much, but seeing everything. And once he started pulling back, it became clear. Something about Erika's story never quite added up. And while Erika was busy crafting her perfect woman persona, Charlie, he was noticing everything and slowly backing away. Charlie's quiet withdrawal, Charlie Kirk never made a scene. There were no angry posts, no podcast monologues dripping with betrayal, no media tours hinting at marital unrest. Instead, the shift was subtle but undeniable. The kind of quiet you only notice in hindsight once everything's already fallen apart. People close to him started to sense something had changed. He wasn't colder exactly, just more measured, more intentional. He didn't ask questions in front of others. He didn't press Erika for explanations when things didn't line up. Instead, he observed. And as Erika continued to build her public brand around purity, faith, and loyalty, Charlie began restructuring the private parts of their life with unsettling precision. One of the first things insiders noticed was how Charlie began bringing his parents around more often. At first, it seemed sweet, a close-knit family dynamic, grandparents helping out, but the frequency became impossible to ignore. They weren't just visiting, they were present, around the kids, around Erika, around everything, not in the background, but in the room, witnesses, not just for support, but for accountability. Friends and colleagues who spent time with the family noted that Charlie had become more guarded in how he talked about his home life. The transparency he once had, gone. Conversations about the kids became vague. Decisions about the family were double-checked, often with his parents looped in. It wasn't paranoia, it was strategy, because once someone suspects their life has been curated around them, built on a version of truth that was more performance than reality, they don't explode. They prepare. They build exits quietly. Charlie began documenting things. He shifted routines, asked more questions, and limited the amount of unfiltered influence Erika had over the children's daily lives. It wasn't reactive, it was calculated. The kind of planning a person does when they know that someday they may need to explain everything to someone else. And in many ways, he never got the chance. Charlie's life ended before those suspicions could be turned into confrontation. He never sat across from Erika and demanded the truth. He never publicly acknowledged what he had been quietly piecing together for years. But the people closest to him knew something was wrong. His distance wasn't emotional neglect, it was protective. What's most chilling about this chapter isn't what Charlie said, it's what he didn't. Because for a man who spent his life in the public eye, constantly speaking, debating, and leading, his silence about Erika was the loudest thing he ever did, and it spoke volumes. Volumes his parents are now unpacking. One DNA test test at a time. And then Charlie was gone. But his parents? Oh, they're not done yet. They're turning grief into fire, and they want answers. DNA tests and the custody bombshell. In the days following Charlie's passing, the silence from his family was not confusion, it was calculation. Because behind closed doors, conversations were already shifting. Not about grief, not about memorials, but about truth, about protection, and about the children left behind in a story that no longer made sense. The decision didn't come from scandal chasing or grief-induced overreaction. It came from a place far colder, far heavier, suspicion that had been simmering beneath the surface for years. According to those close to the family, Charlie's parents have now demanded a DNA test, not to make a headline, but to draw a line. Because after everything that's surfaced, the audio, the photos, the contradictions, they no longer trust Erika, not with the story, not with the legacy, and perhaps most devastating of all, not with the children. It's the kind of accusation no family makes lightly. But this isn't just about what Erika did or didn't do during her marriage. This is about what comes next. Because if the DNA test confirms Charlie is the biological father, the family may not stop at exposure. They may go further, pursuing full custody. That's not about revenge. That's about responsibility. And it tells you just how fractured the trust has become. The Kirks aren't simply questioning Erika's fidelity anymore. They're questioning her fitness to parent under the shadow of a story that seems to change every time it's retold. And then comes the darker outcome. The one nobody wants to say out loud, but everyone knows is on the table. What if the test says Charlie isn't the father at all? What if the one thing holding this fragile structure together, the children, aren't biologically his? Then this story doesn't end in court documents or custody filings. It implodes. It becomes a betrayal so deep that even the idea of reconciliation becomes impossible. Charlie would have spent his final years raising children he believed were his, while quietly questioning the woman beside him. And his parents would be left not only mourning their son, but grappling with the reality that their bloodline may have been severed in a lie. This isn't tabloid gossip anymore. This is about guardianship, legacy, and the question that now defines Erika's entire narrative. If she was capable of building a brand on a lie, what else was she willing to fabricate? Her past, her love story, her motherhood? The very fact that a DNA test is even being considered, let alone pursued, shatters whatever was left of the carefully curated image Erika once clung to. Because it means the Kirks don't just doubt her honesty, they doubt her completely. And if the truth they uncover turns out to match the worst of their fears, this won't be the end of Erika's story. It will be the beginning of a battle she may never have the power to control again. What happens next? We're not just watching a scandal, we're watching a brand collapse in real time. Charlie never confronted it publicly, but his parents are dragging the truth into the sunlight, whether anyone's ready or not. DNA tests don't lie, and when the results come in, this goes from TikTok tea to courtroom custody battle. If this story made your jaw drop or your tea spill, smash that like button. Subscribe for more high energy breakdowns of political drama, influencer meltdowns, and everything in between. And tell me in the comments, do you think Charlie knew the truth before anyone else? Or was he just another pawn in Erika's rebrand? Either way, the test results are coming, and when they do, we'll be right here breaking it down, one receipt at a time.